So you want to know if the Mormon Church is true or not? Easy. See this guy, Joseph Smith? He claimed to know how to translate Egyptian into English. So if you take your Pearl of Great Price and you open it up to page 28, you'll see this figure here. And on that page, you're going to see a bunch of English translations from what Joseph Smith claimed that he had the gift of God to translate these characters and these symbols into. So, number one, he calls the Spirit of the Lord. We know today through people who have PhDs in Egyptology that this figure number one here is actually something called the personality of the deceased. Figure number two, he thinks is Abraham fastened upon the altar, when in fact it is the personality of the dead person. Three, he calls the idolatrous priest of Elkanah, which is actually, in Egyptology, it's the god of Anubis. Number four here, he calls it the sacrificial altar, when in fact it's not. It's actually, in Egyptology, it's called the funeral bier. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, and 8. He calls these the idolatrous gods, and he gives them a bunch of names. Korash, Elkanah, and Sorish. I don't know. I don't have that in front of me. But anyway, it's all those. But in fact, these are, number 5 is the intestines. These are canopic jars, which contain the organs of the deceased. So this entire thing is a funerary embalming instruction document. That's what the reality of this is. It is not the Book of Abraham. Number 5 is the intestines. Number 6 is the stomach. Number 7 is where the lungs would go. And number 8 is where the liver would go. Number 9, he's calling the god of Pharaoh. Where's number 9? Okay, number 9, he calls the god of Pharaoh, which in fact this is not. This is a character named Horus in the form of a crocodile. Number 10, he says, again, is Abraham in Egypt, which is not Abraham in Egypt. That's a libation stand for papyrus. Papyrus is that plant right there. Number 11 is down here. He calls this the pillars of heaven. These are not the pillars of heaven. These are, in fact, a fortified fence-like structure that fortify the palace where the dead are kept, or something like that. Let's see, number 12. Where's number 12? 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. Where the hell is 12? 12, right here. He calls that the heavens. Joseph Smith calls that the heavens, when Egyptologists have translated that into the water in which the crocodile swims, which makes perfect sense. So, if you want to know the Mormon Church is true or not, all you got to do is look at this document. You don't need to look at any anti-material or whatever. You don't need to pray about it. All you need to do is look at this. It's published in their Doctrine and Covenants right now with fake translations, with translations that are in fact untrue. And it proves that Joseph Smith did not have the gift of translation. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Later.